Hello, peoples of the interwebs. I am once again Zarlin, and today we are talking about really two decks, but it's basically the same deck that was added in the most recent update and can be used in the Fusion Festival. So we're going to start off with that version because it's much more simple. We're playing Despia. Of course we are. This is Zarlin's channel. We're playing Despia. It's a wonderful, controlling, mid-gamey kind of fusion deck. We're playing a lot of good stuff. Now, of course, this is if you actually want to play the fusion deck properly, the Fusion Festival properly, I should say, because there's still a lot of people playing True Draco, and I ran into a Time Lord Kaiju player, and it's just been a mess, but still, great, wonderful deck. Let's go over the card by card here. We got Tragedy. We're running two of them. We can dump these with Foolish Burial, or even with Fusion Destiny, if you want to run Dangerous. There he is right there. Destiny Hero Dangerous, which I'm currently not running in this version. Well, hell, why not? We don't need 3 Proskinian. Besides the point. Tragedy, once it's sent to the graveyard by card effect, you get to search one of your other Despia. So, he's wonderful starter to get us to anything we want. Usually, it's a Luber, but sometimes it's any other card, and since it likes being in the graveyard, or banished, but since it likes being in the graveyard, it sets up some of our plays later. This version, for the Fusion Festival, I am playing the Maxis and the Ash Blossoms. In the ranked version, I'm actually not playing Maxi, but that's just because of card size, and we're not running, the only really hand trap we're running besides that is Ash Blossom, so we don't run into a lot of answers on the opponent's turn when we're Maxiing. We got our Edge Imp chains for our patchwork combos. Not combos, but our patchwork searches. Of course, another card that was added to Master Duel was our Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, so we're running the Garnets of Celestial and Dasher. We got our Luber to start all our plays. He searches all the branded cards, get you whatever you need. And we're running 1 Dramaturge and 1 Ad Libitum. They're just big, beefy boys that do great things when they're fusion summoned. Dramaturge comes back from wherever he was fusion summoned to onto the field. If there's another extra deck summoned monster put onto the field while he's there, he gets a negate, and he's a 3k body. It's wonderful. And Ad libitum, when it's sent to the graveyard or banished by card effect, used as fusion material, I should say, we get to bring either a Despia or one of our fusions back and just special summon it on the field. Regular Poly is here because of the patchwork. I'm running Monster Reborn. It's just kind of like our 40th card. This could be really anything you want to run. Foolish Burial, on the other hand, like I said, it's great for sending Tragedy, which is usually what you're going to send. It's a great starter, get you where you need to go, and it's also great Ash bait. We got our patchworks here, gets us to the Edge Imp half, I guess, of the deck. It's great for doing fusion stuff, and that's what we're all about, is doing fusions. Speaking of fusions, Fusion Destiny. Even though we can't run Verte in this version of the deck, drawing into Fusion Destiny is still just a great thing to happen. Only running one Theater of the Branded. It's very useful, but most of the time when I have this, I also tend to have like a poly in my hand, so it's not that useful. And a lot of people are catching on that they want to destroy this before they destroy any like stray Despias you have on the field. But it's still a really good card. But we really only want to go one of them. It's super searchable with Luber, so you know. One of the big strengths of this deck is it's really good at using Super Poly, so we'll run every Super Poly we're allowed to. Called by is called by. Stop yourself from getting ashed. We don't summon a whole lot, so Max C doesn't bother us too much, but it is a thing. Called by the grave. Branded opening. Another way to, if you dump either Tragedy or Edge Imp Chain off of this, you get to activate their effects. So, go ham. And then you search usually a Luber. It does lock you into fusions, but who cares? This is the Fusion Festival. That's all we're doing anyways. Branded in red. It's wonderful, and it's only going to get better in the future. I'm so glad that it's only, like, rare, although I would love, like, a royal rare branded in red, but we can't get that. So we'll just have to live with these. We get to grab a Despia out of the grave. Make sure you have a Despia in the grave. I was playing earlier and forgot that my only Despia was Tragedy and used it to get my second Branded in Red out of the graveyard. And then both Branded in Reds just became useless. Wasn't a fun time. Remember to keep a Despia in the grave. And then we're running 3 Imperm, which I guess you could count as another hand trap, but it's also useful as a regular trap. Extra deck, like I said, with Dangerous, we can actually send one of our other Destiny heroes in a Tragedy if we need that starter, but usually we're going into DPE. Starving Venom, it's a great Super Poly card. Retropant Dragostapelia. Wonderful card. I don't know what else to tell you. We always usually have a fusion monster, and we can fusion Super Poly into this as well if they have a dark monster or if they have a fusion monster. Quertus comes up a few times. Of course, you have to make sure to use his effect in the main phase, which is, of course, you can turn all non-fusions attack to 0. Or, sorry, level 8 or higher fusions. So, anything that's lower than level 8 and not a fusion, we can turn their attack to 0 and then hit over them or stop them from attacking during their turn. It doesn't come up as much during the festival, but I have had it come up. Also, if it's destroyed by card effect, you get to special summon a Despia from your deck. So, once again, free a Luber. Wonderful, wonderful. Or really any other card that we need. DPE is DPE. It's just a giant control card. Format warping. I don't know what else to tell you. It's a big, strong boy, and if you're not running it, you're going to run into problems, usually. Masquerade. I love Masquerade. We got 2 of them. And if you can get both of them out on the field on the same time, your opponent is going to lose life points fast, because they have to pay 600 for every card effect they activate. And if you've got 2 of them on there, they got to pay 1,200. Gotta go fast. Once again, Planet Triff, for whatever his name is, you can see it on the screen. It's another super poly target. We don't go into this one as much, but we've got extra deck space because we can't play Lynx, and Guardian Chimera isn't in the game yet, so we'll just go off of this. Greedy Venom is an extremely good card, and if you can actually get to it, which we usually use like Dragostapelia in this format to get there, but because we don't have Verte. But regardless, you can negate an opponent's effect, and then if it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, it does a full board wipe. Proskinian doesn't come up too often, but like I said before, we've got free extra deck space, so why not? And in this version, the first Dark Lord doesn't come up as often either, but it can get a summon of Aluber on your opponent's turn. Also, it protects your fairies from targeting, which all the Despias are. So, it's a wonderful thing. But if you don't want to play the Fusion Festival and want to go to Ranked, we got this version. This version is very similar, although we have we've replaced the Maxis with Diviners. I'll talk about in a bit. If you've seen my other videos about Despia, this is kind of a Link Climby starter. What you do is you activate Diviner. Then we've got one Treas Harakia. And we send that to the graveyard with Diviner. When that happens, that counts as a tribute. So then we get to summon a Tragedy from our deck. Then we've got two components on the field, and we can go into like Verte or IP or even Condemned Dark Lord. But usually it's into Verte. Of course, we've got the Ash, but our DPE package, instead of doing the usual Dasher and Celestial, we're actually running Denier and Tomb Malicious. This is once again to go into the links that we have. Once again, Verte is a thing. Underworld Goddess can come up sometimes. In fact, a lot of times, especially if you've got some Mallies and a Denier in your deck ready to go. But it's really there for linking off. And in this one, we more often we will use Dangerous for a starter, so we can by using Fusion Destiny, so we can start our Despia plays more. The other addition for this one is Superbia. We usually want to dump that in Subway so Dark Lord gets even more value. We can use Dark Lord. Make sure you don't use Dark Lord in a chain to get Superbia out, because Superbia will miss timing. But then when we get Superbia out, Superbia can bring back another Aluber, and we can go into like a Verte or whatever we need to go into. Other than that, Harpies, everything else is pretty much the same. I am currently running 42 cards because it's hard to fit everything you want in here, basically, right now. Obviously, if you don't want to go the full Link package, you can use a similar version of the Fusion Festival deck as like a pure Despia build. But I think the package with Diviner and Terras Hierarchia is a good additional package to have in this deck. But tell me what you think how Master Duel Despia should be played in the comments below. Engagement. Maybe you should click the like button and subscribe and bell icon and tell me how you feel about Master Duel, because even though we've got the full thing, not the full thing, but a large pool of Despia cards now, I'm still a little upset because of the ban list is still Garbo and all that junk, but that's for future. Besides that, have a wonderful day, and don't talk to strangers. Bye.